Hello and welcome to episode number 5 of the ACC's Netball Podcast Court Session, brought to you by the Export Beer Garden. We are here. My name is Sam Winders and I've got, of course, Erena Mikaere with me. We're here to talk about game number 4 of the Silver Ferns road to gold medal match at the World Cup. They played Wales last night, but before we get into that once again, E, how are you going?
Yeah, morena, Sam. I'm good actually. I was crashed out in bed and I let my alarm go off till 8:30 and I was like, oh God, I better jump out of bed and get in the shower, and then I realised nobody can see me. But I thought I'd do you all a favour, brush my teeth still because this isn't my mic, so I thought I'd talk into it nicely. Can't be doing that to a microphone.
Use it, don't want the remnants of your morning breath.
Oh, I got some stories on some remnants of morning breaths on microphones because, I commentated Fast 5 and that wasn't fun.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, we'll chat about that maybe some other time.
Going back to that, remnants of morning breath. And have you ever tried on a team's mascot outfit? Those big head things?
I have.
Talk about morning breath, right?
Oh. I don't know if that's morning breath or if that's head sweat. I think that's head sweat.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. But hey, bit of both. Anyway, Sammy, what have you been up to? How are you? How are you
Pretty
feeling?
much the same, really. I had all intentions of getting up nice and early. My husband went to work at 5 a.m. and I thought, you know what? I'll get up then. And did I? No. But that's all right. I'm here. I had a good sleep in, so I'm just going to say, I had to have a sleep in and now I'm in a good mood for the day.
Oh, nice. Turn your camera on then. Just kidding, Fano. We won't do that to the world.
Yeah.
Let's catch up on the game. Who do we play? We played Wales, right? It was 83-34. I can't do the maths. Do the maths for me, Sammy.
83-34. That looks about 49 goals.
Now, the big chat and the big... I guess it was breaking news during one game. I think it was Aussie game. Was that we didn't have Grace Nweke?
Yeah, so I was sitting there listening to the, vaguely, it was on in the background, the Australian game, and it was just the standard stuff, and I wasn't paying much attention to the commentators. We talked about them yesterday. All they do is rave on about those Australian girls. And then just the umpires, same old. But so I was sitting there listening to it, and then out of nowhere, breaking news. Literally, I was like,
they said breaking news.
There's been a cyclone or some earthquake or something. It's serious. And then, basically on that level, Grace Nweke has been ruled out of the Netball World Cup. And if you don't know who Grace Nweke is, she's our star shooter. She's been primed and
ANZ winning. Championship winning shooter.
Yeah, all the above. And now New Zealand doesn't have her.
I guess that is breaking news for New Zealand Rakes because that was, oh no, that is our number one shooter. What do we do? But Maya Wilson stood up. The girl did mahi. But our poor old Grace. She obviously, how are you thinking she's feeling? And two, Sammy, does she leave? Does she stay there? Does she leave? So two things I think about there. Is the injury needing surgery? So does she leave? Or does she stay? Because obviously I don't think she's having surgery in South Africa.
No, I wouldn't.
Does she stay because of the swelling and things that will happen on the flight home and the big travel home? She's still young, remember?
Yeah. I would say, so when she hobbled off, she looked pretty unsure. She's clearly had some pain in her knee. But then I heard Nolene say yesterday during the game, they said, how is Grace? And Nolene said, for a 21-year-old girl and that's her competition-ending injury, the world has ended. So what I'm taking from that is that poor girl's devastated. But she wasn't at the game last night, watching from behind the bench. So I can just imagine she's taking her time in a hotel room, rubbing her wounds, just getting herself, I don't know, back and ready to support the girls. I can't imagine she'd go home. Would you go home?
No, I wouldn't want to.
Not at a World Cup.
No, I think now she's looking ahead, what does that look like for Mystics? What does that look like she was over there and she was going to spend the time there. Maybe she had planned a holiday post World Cup because that's what some girls do. So unsure.
Well, her whānau, like her descendants are from Nigeria, right? So she might have been going over to see some relatives, who knows? But it's a partial tear in her patellar tendon, which means it's not ruptured. So I don't think there'll be surgery, but it's just maybe a few months of rest.
All right. Well, online.
Moving on.
Yeah, on that subject though, online, some people are blaming the goalkeeper or goalie that she landed on. One of the comments had said, sometimes that's what happens when you play against unco people. And someone said she purposely put herself coming in under Grace Nweke. And I just had this sort of like, no, as goalkeeper or goalie, as a defender, you're not like, I'm going to purposely put my foot underneath the goal shooter. Most of the time, we don't want our feet anywhere near where their feet are. So you don't want to hurt yourself. And I just saw that and thought, oh, no. Okay, people, that's not the fact. She was just purely going for the ball. She turned around and grabbed Grace's hand after the injury. So, yeah, that's just my opinion.
Do you think, though, like Grace is such a target. Do you not think that some little evil conniving thought in some defender's head is like, if I take her out, we're going to be all goods? That's not a thing. You really don't think that's a thing. Not that people would, but just like a real naughty thought that comes in.
Well, you know what? Not personally for myself, and I don't think you do that, but we have listeners, so maybe the listeners might tell us. Yeah. I know we have listeners because I had someone message me yesterday. I had a friend message me yesterday, and they're like, hey, name and shame. I'm like, wait, what's going on? And he's like, name and shame. The story we told in episode, 4 the other day, about the guy bumping me off and calling me, but he's like, tell me who that was. And I was just like, we got to leave it a mystery. We got to leave it out there for the people to guess. There's so many people that it could have been. And maybe it's inside all of us. Anyway, that's what I got from there. We had a listener ask a question as well. So, Sammy, I'll ask you, what's your honest opinion as a travelling reserve? Like, are you going to be there in the comp? Is your head in it? Are you on holiday mode, or are you judging others, thinking what you can be better, like if you can be better than them? Like, are you actually secretly hoping that they're going to injure themselves? And then
that's
they do.
Good question.
And then you're gutted that your holiday's over. You know?
Yeah, the conflict of emotions, right? Because those 3 reserves, so each team has 3 reserves that aren't on the bench, and they're not allowed to play unless they get permanently brought into the team if someone's permanently out, which is what happened to Grace Nweke. So Tiana Maturo, who those flippin' Aussie commentators just totally butchered her name again. I was like, man, you got to go to some lessons. Anyway, so she's been brought in. But so from my opinion, the first thing I said when I heard that there were travelling reserves was, yo, that'd be mean, go to Africa and have a holiday. And then I hear Knowles on the news or whatever announcing it about or talking about it. Or maybe it was in an email she sent out to the squads, and she said, nobody will be going for a vacation if you're reserved. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I promise, Knowles, I won't be on holiday if I went.
Well, as players, regardless of whether you make the Silver Ferns, NZA, reserves, anything in that squad, we've spoken about this before, that's not a rest. Like, none of it is a holiday. Mm-mm. If you're in the NZA, you do just as much as what Silver Ferns do. You just don't have that title, right?
Yeah.
So it's like...
Exactly. And those reserves will be exactly the same. Like, every time we watch the game, we're sitting at home watching it, and I'm like, oh, they got their notebooks out. Come on, girls, get your notebooks out, write your notes. And so they're sitting at the bench, at the back, taking notes. They're full invested in the game. So I think that's a good thing. So as soon as someone does get injured and they have to come in, you'd think that they'd be, boom, ready to go.
Yeah, well, I think when the team gets a growling, they're part of the team. They get a growling too, and not an Australian growling if you're listening from Australia. Because that's completely different, Sammy. Did you know that?
No.
I can tell you about that one later.
Okay.
Anyway, so thank you, Mikey, for that question. The next question we had from a different listener was, what are our worst injuries, or what are some of the worst injuries we know of?
Oh.
So while you have a thing, I'll tell the great story about how I dislocated my ankle, right? I was at the gym by myself and I thought, I'll take the roller down the back door. Yeah, the foam roller down, and I popped the phone up to watch the yoga that I was doing. And I just put my foot out and I would just put it out on the ground where I was just about stretching, doing this yoga thing. And it just went and it was gone. So it just was like, yep, I did. It was like literally 2 seconds into starting the routine and that's it. I did my ankle. It was like the end of my world.
I don't know, Erena, how you have done over 10 years of professional netball.
And only done that.
But you can do something stupid like that. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sure you've been under bigger stress than a foam roller.
Oh, that actually was the end of my world too. I was like, what do I do now?
It was actually quite funny. I remember when you did that, you kind of didn't really let on how it happened for quite a long time. Because then I was like, bro, she must have been on the piss. She must have been like out in the clubs and slipped in her big 6-inch stilettos or something, because she ain't telling me how she did it. And then when I heard, I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't tell people that either.
Yeah, no. And there was no one at the gym to help me. The only one girl was there. She was down in the corner with her Beats by Dre on. So she couldn't, noise cancelling. I'm like, help
me.
I had to ring. I saw someone go past and I was like, there's someone who can save me, which is someone I actually wasn't really talking to at that time. And I was
gym dramas. We know about those.
Gym dramas. But I had to ring him and be like, hey, I really need your help. Like, I know you don't like me and this is not a great time. Can you come back and help me? He actually walks in and tries to get someone's attention behind the desk and is like, there's someone on the floor at the back. They need your help.
He walked out. Mean. Cheers, bro.
No. He didn't. He come down, made sure I was all right. And then the receptionist come down. He picked me up like a hero, took me to the hospital. So that was my worst one. Any of your own or that you've, heard of from someone else, Sammy?
Nah, if I'm being honest, I have been pretty damn lucky in terms of those awful injuries, but I've witnessed many. I have witnessed this year at training alone, 2 desiccated fingers where they're just sticking out the other side.
What are you up to with your fingers?
Not me, other people I've witnessed. Okay. Yeah, not me. I've witnessed desiccated shoulders, 2 of those as well. I remember watching when Casey Corporal did her knee on the telly.
Oh, and
oh, bro, that was something else.
Speaking of that, we were away at camp recently, obviously, name drop Casey.
Yeah.
She asked me to put my hand on her knee and feel it as she kicked it out. And it was like, clunk, clunk. I was like, oh, don't ever do that to me again. It's still gross. Poor girl. For the listeners out there, Sammy, because Whitney had the day off the other day.
Yeah.
And it was because of Charlie. Some people don't know who Charlie is.
A Charlie?
Or, because one year at Lightning, we named all our injuries after men because we felt like they were the pain in your nono side. So if they're the pain in your backside, I was like, yep, that's Joe. So, that's my knee is Joe. And so who is Charlie and what is it?
Well, that's just what I've always called it. When you get kicked in the leg or an elbow straight to somewhere and it's just an internal bruise and you can't see anything and you just feel like your bone is bruised. Your bone's been punched, but it's not broken. And there's no bruise to show for it. And you just limp around I can't even walk.
That's ratchet.
So that's what I call a Charlie, but
that's ratchet. Why is it? It's almost like Karen, your name Charlie.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's short for something scientific.
Hey, at halftime during the game when they were playing Wales.
Yeah.
On to the next subject. Sorry.
Moving right along, people.
Sorry. Just chuck it in there. Halftime during the game, I was watching the team talk and I was just like, oh, what's Noel saying? Who is Noel talking to? But it wasn't actually the conversation Noel was having. There was a little conversation just on the left of the screen and Hef was sitting down and Maddie was standing up and she walks towards her with a centre bib and all you hear is, you could have told me that before I took my gel. I was like, whoa. So she obviously didn't know she was not going on and she took some...
An energy gel.
Energy gel. So she's like, I'm going to be I'm going to be pinging. Yeah, I'm going to be pinging for the sitting on the bench now.
And a lot of those gels, actually, they have caffeine in them. So she's just sacrificed a good night's sleep, although they play at 9 o'clock in the morning. That's all right. She'll be fine. Just carbo loading.
Well, that was I was like, what else happens on the bench? Have you ever
told me?
Yeah, exactly. You could have told me. Like, I was like, I wonder if I've ever had combos like that on the bench. But have you ever had that happen to you in any situation on the sidelines, Timmy? Or
there's some
not knowing you're going on?
wild conversations that go down on the bench at quarter time. But the worst, I think, it's pretty gross. People go through a lot of tissues and towels and paper towels on the bench. And then I try really hard to make sure mine go in the bin before I get on court, but there's a lot of players who don't. And that, honestly, who wants to touch your sweaty, snotty tissue and put it in the bin? Those poor bench girls who love to make sure the bench is nice and clean, sweep the sheds, ladies. They're the ones that have to touch it, and I think that's just rank.
I've done that before.
Gross, Erena.
No, I was a benchy. I was a benchy.
Okay, take it back.
I was like Taita Kiwi, picking up all the rubbish on the thing and like put my hand down to pick up a tissue and like that goopy was on my hand and I was like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wasn't nice. So as a player on court now, I try not to do the same. I'm just like, don't touch me, because that's how I am.
Yeah, no. So getting back to that Wales game, I thought they started like every team in this competition that the Ferns have played, they generally start off all right. They've got a bit of gas in the tank. They whip out all their best plays to start with, and then they just really fade over the course of the game. But I was super entertained by one person, that Wales team, and her name's Nia Jones, and she's been around for a few years now, but she is one tough lady.
What does she play?
She was playing wing defence, of course, where all the tough bitches play. And honestly, if anybody ever ran near her, they were looking for a hiding. Like, she had her fists up basically that whole game. And I wish there was a tracker that just followed her, because I reckon we would have been able to tick off our Rumbles bingo. Her and Whitney actually almost got into a scrap. It was, the commentators said, because she's apparently a dual international, so she plays football. She's played football for Wales and also netball. And the commentators said, oh, this isn't football. And I was like, well, you're allowed to punch people in football? I didn't know that. Clarification, please.
Oh, I thought, is she the captain also? Yeah, I thought she was pretty cool. She was pretty onto it. And just speaking from people who may be a little bit more size-ish, don't really know their, what do you call it, like their body space. Maybe she's a bit like me and didn't realise she was hitting you. Just
maybe.
FYI.
Yeah, okay. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But I was into it. I was for it. I was like, yo, if you can't beat him up.
Join him, beat him, do it with them.
If you can't beat him up. I like that. Yeah. I was into that anyway.
I'm glad you were. Now, so on to bigger and dramatic things.
Oh, yes.
Saw a post online and it said this World Cup has too much drama, even for me. Going back to the drama of Malawi, has there been anything that's developed from that?
I had to do a bit of research in this area because I just didn't think we could, discuss how they aired their dirty laundry, how the team was like really had their issues clearly, and then just leave it at that. So I went online, I had a little look around to see what happened, and to be honest, I didn't actually see the game because it was probably this morning, to be honest, really early. So I didn't watch it, but they played Barbados, and the message from the spokesperson of Netball Malawi said, "We have our next game today against Barbados, and the players are ready to die for Mother Malawi."
That's unreal. Well, did Kamwenda make it back to the team? Do we know?
Yeah. She's back in there. And they actually promised that they would start her. That was the other interesting thing in this article. They said, we're going to start her. And the whole thing was like, oh, we just had her as an impact player kind of situation. But there's been, so many people got opinions on this matter now, but I just can't wait to see those girls die for Mother Malawi. I just think that's like they're going to war, basically.
Well, that's what I'm going to be watching next. I think I'm going to have to write that down, unless it's at 4 a.m. in the morning New Zealand time, then I will be sleeping.
It ain't happening.
Talking about impact players, ever been told anything out of it when you've been, they're trying to tell you in a nice way, you won't be playing, but you're kind of going to go on as an impact. Be ready. Ever been told anything random or felt really weird if you were that impact player?
Well, they always say they don't call them benchies at the Ferns, they call them super subs, which makes me feel really good about myself.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm a super sub.
I'm just like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Put me on. I'll do better. Just kidding. Okay, so the Ferns, they're going into a day off now. What are the typical things you do on a day off? I saw this morning on the gram, Meals is out, Mum is out shopping, best place to find any news if you like into that media. But what are you normally doing in a different country on your day off? Obviously, you've got to recover and things, right?
Yeah.
Can you go hunting? Can you go get in one of those trucks? Oh, no, we're not hunting. Oh, I would want to hunt. But maybe they
beautiful wild animals.
Well, I think maybe they had like some pigs to eat or something. I don't know what we hunt in New Zealand.
You're in Africa. Hunting. When you say hunting, I'm thinking like lions and tigers and bears.
Well, can they go in a car with cage and go, see some animals? Or
do you mean a safari?
Thanks for making me sound dumb. Yes, one of those, the safari.
Well, if there's time, sometimes cities have like, I remember once in South Africa, we went to a crocodile farm, or an alligator farm or something, which was like absolutely disgusting. And I held a big snake and a baby crocodile, and I didn't realize I was scared of them until that moment. So they might do something like that. That sounds a bit tame, but they can't use up too much energy. Like they just have to relax, I think, because they've got some big games coming up. So just go watch a movie, just chill out in bed, like go get some lunch. They can't do much anyway, because we know how security's bloody tight over there, and those girls don't want to be putting themselves in dangerous situations, surely.
Yeah, right. I love that. Inside knowledge there, girls. Okay, so let's recap on bingo. We have had a couple of things ticked off now, and after that game, we got the tick off, the actual sign the dotted line. Maya's post-match interview, she got MVP, which was well-deserved because she shot the lights out. She got 100%, I'm pretty sure. And she said sissy boo. She called Grace her sissy boo. But other than that, she said grateful to be here. She said all the keys, lots to take away. You really got to respect our position, but we knew we come out here to do a job, so we could tick that one off. So we've ticked off number one.
Good girl, Maya. She's been listening to us.
That's right. Love her, Maya. Ticked off number one. Close up on Noel saying well done or good girl. We've ticked that off. The captain interview. Well, it was Maya's interview. Lots to take away. And obviously she said she was great, just grateful to be there. Number three, a no-look pass. We saw Tonga do that and Kat Tuiviti. Sammy, have we seen number four, toss-up yet?
No, not in a game that I've watched.
We've got close to some rumbles, so I think we can tick that off. Do you agree?
Yeah, I
waiting for a
last night
scrap.
Was basically it.
Yeah, they just didn't show it on TV clear enough. Hey, it needs to be the off-ball shot that needs to show it. So, like, I found in ANZ, if we are shooting down that end, often actually it was me and Maya would be having a rumble down the other end whilst it was being shot down the other end. Do you watch them? You watch them. You want some of this? Catch these hands. Anyway, number 6, the coach is caught swearing on camera. Thoughts?
I'm going to say yes because
okay, well, let's tick that off.
Tick it off. We can't
understand every language, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like the video from Malawi was close enough.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Commentators saying take a bow. I don't know. I haven't really been listening to them. You?
They said. Remember, I thought they said take a bow, but they said
Taco Bell.
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Nice. A player yelling, let's go with their hands in the air, yet to watch England take on New Zealand, because I think that's where it will be. So we'll wait for that game if it comes. The appearance of okay, you get that word.
Vuvuzela.
Vuvuzela, the South African musical instrument. No, I think that they're taking them off the people before they're walking in. Maybe we can get some pre-game footage. Maybe it's outside. And then the last one, our first ever netball streaker. Oh, look, Sammy, do I give up on wanting that?
I don't think. Well, okay, I saw security at the game last night and they look bloody tough. So, yeah.
Do you know what I did see on ACC Commentary's Instagram page? It's 2 streakers at the rugby game. One of them ate dirt really hard, and that was hilarious. It was great. It was a club rugby, I'm pretty sure, and they were playing. So if you want to check that out, guys, go and check out their Instagram page because it is hilarious. I wanted to share it, but I don't know. I just too busy laughed at the guy. He jumped the fence and he just straight face planted. That I want to see that. Someone jumped the fence at the netball and face plant on the netball court, skid across the ground, leave some body sweat juices on the ground and carry on.
Make those ball girls come on and wipe up your sweat with towels, with their wee face cloths.
All right, Sammy, give us a wrap up of what we're looking at going into next and where we see Silver Fern, who we're taking on, what are our predictions, what's going on next?
Beauty. So we have a day off, as mentioned, but it kind of feels like 2 days off because in New Zealand time, we don't watch the next game until 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. So we're Tuesday today, so we get all of today, all of tomorrow, and then 4 a.m. Thursday morning, we take on South Africa. And then we have one more game after that against Jamaica, which is that evening. So that's going to be a jam-packed day, 9 p.m. And then that closes out pool play, and then we're boom straight into semis and finals. So we basically have to win just one of these last 2 games to make semis. But if we lose 2, then we're in trouble. If we win both, we go top of the pool and we probably play England. If we lose 1, we go second of the pool and we probably play Australia in the semi-final. So there's a hard road to get to the final, but it's only in these last 3 games. So yeah, I think we're really, as they say, getting to the business end of it now. Hopefully for us, getting to the exciting end where we actually want to keep watching the games. So yeah, that's what we can look forward to. And don't you worry, Ian and I will be tuning in regardless of the score to make sure things are tickety-boo. But I think we'll both be enjoying a couple days off, right?
Yeah, that's right, Sissy Boo. I'm taking a leaf from Maya's book there.
Jeez.
Actually, I've still got to go train and stuff, but
stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Squatted 140 kgs yesterday. Get it? Thanks to my trainer Keith. Yep, but only to a high box, so not that great.
Well, the dunk count.
But hey, they get a day off. That means we get a day off, Sammy. So, but everyone can tune back in when they come back because we'll have all the drama, all the plans, everything. Personally, I want us, and I think we can. According to everyone on the online forums, we are only a bronze medal now because we've lost our guild. But according to last night, we were fire. I think we've got nothing to worry about. I think so long as we keep doing the work, we're in there. We're up to the top. So
hard. Let's upset this competition.
That's right.
That'll be good. Mean E. Well, thanks for joining us again today, everybody. That covers off episode number 5, recapping game 4 of the Netball World Cup. And we will catch you again in a couple days.
Yeah, that's right. DM me if you've got any more questions. And that's us. Court session. We out.